and welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge. I've got Zara back on the show with me tonight, and Alex has joined me as well. It's the big one. It's Jose Mourinho v Pep Guardiola, and I tell you what, we're going to have to be quite fair about this as well, because there's comments I've made that can be found on the internet, so I'm going to have to be quite honest. But first of all, and Alex has always loved Pep. Is he unmuting yet? But let's start off with it at the end of the day. France is on in the background if you're watching live. That game's over. It just shows how crap England are. And unless Martial comes on, I've got no interest in that anyway. If you're not watching on Sunday night, that makes no sense at all. But Pep Guardiola v Jose Mourinho. Interesting tweet from somebody going out today saying that Manchester United are behind Manchester City in every single way. I might get Alex to just clarify this a little bit more, because it's from a Manchester United fan who we will remain nameless, but your thoughts, Alex, on the Man City, Pep Guardiola and Mourinho thing. Let's take it back a few months. Is Mourinho the one you would have chosen?
I always said that my dream United manager, and I'll probably get rinsed for this, wasn't Pep, but Jose was always my number two, but my number one choice was always Jurgen Klopp, because I always love Klopp, and even though he's a Liverpool manager and I hate Liverpool, I still really like Klopp. But I think the person to take us forward, I think it's 4-0 now in that France game, looking over your shoulder, Griezmann, that the person to take us forward now is Jose, and like the names that we can bring in, like Klopp at Liverpool, it can be also to do with like the funds and everything. He isn't really, like, every single player they're linked with and signing, apart from Mane, I haven't even heard of, so maybe that's naive from me, or they're just signing a load of trash players. But with Jose, he is actually bringing in the big names. He is bringing in the really established, brilliant players. And in terms of Dermot putting that City are ahead of us in every single way tweet, like, I know we'll discuss it throughout the show, but I really don't think that they are that far ahead. I think Aguero is their key weapon, but if you look at Aguero throughout the last few seasons, he always gets an injury that will take him out for like 3 months. And I think that the Iheanacho is decent. He's not as good as Martial, like some make out, but he's not going to be good enough to lead him to the title if Aguero gets injured.
I bet England fans are glad they ignored the Euros and watched the United Stand tonight, because I can't bear to look at what's behind me. But carry on. Some of the topics before I go to Zara and get her thoughts, honest thoughts, Zara, on whether you would have wanted Mourinho or Pep at Christmas, and then I'm going to dig my grave. Who's going to come out on top in the league, obviously, is a very important one. Who's going to last longer? Who's going to bring on the players like who's going to rediscover the people like Memphis and Schneidlins? And obviously City have got shitty Sterling. You know, who's going to do best there? Who's going to do the best transfer business? Who's going to play the best football? So we've got quite a lot of things to get through. But as I said, Zara there. Zara?
Yes.
Honestly, back at Christmas, who would you have gone for, Mourinho or Pep?
Mourinho. I've said it consistently, Mourinho. I wonder if I haven't said it consistently, but I've said it consistently throughout that Mourinho was the man for the job. I mean, as well as that, you got to keep in mind with Mourinho. Just think of Mourinho at United. Everyone in the Premier League's gonna just be in favour of him purely because of his attack that he had at Chelsea. And as well as that, like when you go against teams like Chelsea, you know, people will be egging United to win for like that comeback for him. And then as well as that, you've got to think of, you know, against City, that Jose Pep just rivalry is going to be absolutely huge. I mean, we already have like a Man City, Man United derby. It's going to be a Jose and Pep derby, hands down, and that's going to be incredible to watch.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Pep.
You what?
Zlatan against Pep too.
Well, these are genuine quotes. You know, Zlatan did say of Pep that he, you know, if Mourinho is like turning a light on in a room, Pep Guardiola closes the curtains. Manchester derby's huge anyway. You didn't need any more flames on the fire. I think Pep and Jose's are like chucking a can of petrol on it. Absolutely amazing. But let's grab some of your comments before I try and figure out a way out of this, because I'm going to have to tell the truth in a minute. John wants to talk about Pogba rumours. Loads of transfer shows. Did one this morning about Pogba. This is about Jose and Pep. Might come into it, I suppose. Something about Richard Keys in there, the hairy cornflake. Oh no, that's somebody else. Pitchside punch-up, says Wilf. Just because Pogba came through the ranks doesn't mean... Pogba. Can Zara say hi to me, says Bradley. She may do. Oh, she's done it. I'm getting lost. Anyway, What was I going to say? Yes. Christmas time, I did say, and the video's out there, that I wanted Pep. And the reason I said that is because it was at the time that Mourinho had just been sacked by Chelsea. And I will argue with anybody. In fairness, I know about Alex, and I didn't know Zara at the time, but I think most Manchester United fans weren't considering Mourinho because he'd just been sacked. And it was really between Ancelotti and Pep. I'd have preferred Ancelotti. And I suppose I fell into this this romance. But as Sam Park says there, Pep did good for Bayern and Barca, but not great. And I think that I've lost a lot of respect for Pep Guardiola, Alex, because the reality is I never thought he'd go to City. I thought, he was at Barcelona, he came through the ranks, then he went to Bayern Munich, and we should have seen it coming, really. But his comments today about how, and City fans are trying to defend him with some really stupid, well his quote was, all my life I've wanted to play here, and now my dreams come true. City fans are trying to defend that by saying England, he wanted to come and play in England. That's not how it reads. It reads like City. It's like, as you said, City were in League One when Pep Guardiola was playing football for Barcelona. So it's just he's gone massively down in my estimations. I think he's a mercenary. But what I was going to come to you on the next point really is, who's going to be, and a lot of people would say Pep on this if they're being honest, and I don't think so, but I'll let you go first. Who's going to play the better football?
Yeah, in terms of that, where's he going to be, like dreaming about playing in England? I think he meant like City as well. But if he did mean playing in England, then that just admits, like, that's him openly admitting that City aren't a big club that you would dream about playing for anyway. Yeah. In terms of who plays the better football, I know we will get absolutely slated for this, but I would way rather have Jose Mourinho's football, because that's just my personal preference, because I absolutely hate, and it's not just with Pep, I know he innovated the style, but I absolutely hate tiki-taka football. We were talking before we went on air about how you said before about how you hate Spain's style of play, and like when they were going through, people say that they were the best national team of all time, which I don't agree with anyway, because Brazil had some teams better than that. But when they were doing that false nine innovation and all the tiki-taka shit, I just hate it. I just find it so boring. If I wanted slow possession-based football, I'd have wanted Van Gaal to stay in. And I know Pep is obviously better than Van Gaal, but I just really don't like his style of play compared to Jose. And people say, oh, Jose parks the bus, which we've rattled off the stats so many times how he doesn't park the bus. But also with Chelsea, when they won the league, not last season, season before that, is that they were playing the best football in the league by an absolute mile until January or December, whenever it was, when they got battered by Spurs, and then he reverted and played way super safe, in which case they did park the bus. But when Mourinho's on form, he does play some brilliant football.
Yeah, JD Gaming 123. Pep can only win with a good team. Imad says, "Say my name." Shadow Mist, exactly. Talking about Twitter. Pep is a money-hungry man, says Jamie Sheridan. He took millions from Qatar to promote their World Cup bid. He wants clubs with history and goes to City. Jose is a mastermind. Pep isn't, says Sam Park. And there was a really good comment here. Draw MUFC. Where's your comment gone? Oh, I really liked it. Where is it gone? It was brilliant. It was something like, Pep is a bold, money-grabbing mercenary who plays boring football. And I like the bold bit. That was really good because it's obviously really relevant. Yeah, I mean, Zara, are you concerned about the footballing side of things? I mean, I did say that, and I put the tweet out in the first game for Spain. I said, I'll retweet if you're bored of Spain, and I got a load of rubbish for it, but I just find it really boring. And Van Gaal isn't as expansive as Pep, but I still think it will be quite boring. But does it matter if City play good football if we finish above them?
See, the thing is, I think, honestly, we can't, people are saying that, oh no, well, Pep versus Jose, but in my opinion, I think that Mourinho's Premier League proven, so no matter what footballing style we play, we will get some trophies along the way. Whereas with Pep's not, Premier League proven, and as well as that, you've got to consider the fact that although he's got like a fantastic CV, that might not get him anywhere as well. I mean, think of like LVG. He's like I know it's a pretty bad example, but I mean like he's won cups in like Holland and Spain and Germany and all that. But look what happened to him. I mean, Pep could be a huge flop. He might shock us all and might just completely flop. I mean, the signings that they've done, I think Gundogan's a good one, but like Nolito, he's not going to be a regular. And they have Aguero, who I like. I admire. I'm not a bitter United fan. I like admire Aguero because I think he's like a fantastic player. I'm not delusional with that, but like if you have the money, you'd go out and you'd spend your money and you'd get a huge striker purely because of the fact that with Aguero, like Alex said, he gets injured every like for a few months and stuff. You'd be a smart manager and you'd go, oh well, our best striker is gonna like be injured, so why don't we get another world class striker and just splash the cash because we have it. I mean, if he was a really good manager, that's the first thing you'd think of when you go into City. You think
he did try to get Aubameyang though, didn't he? For like 68 million or something, but then obviously Dortmund aren't selling him.
I think it's a good point. Yeah, go on, Zara.
Yeah, like it's true. However, the thing is with City, they have an unbelievable amount of cash. I mean, 68 million is nothing to them. They could have even went higher than that if they really wanted him, and that's the thing with City. So if I was Pep, I would have did that straight away. But his actions now, before the season started, is showing that maybe he's not going to be all what he's cracked up to be at City. So I don't see him as a huge threat. I'm probably going to take those words back as soon as the season starts, but yeah, I'm hoping that's not going to be the case.
I'm just laughing there because somebody in the comment section asked how old I was, and I said 21, and then I'd obviously told somebody before that was 17, and he's not happy about it. I'm flattered that people think I'm 21, but anyway, I'm glad Zara brought that up because transfer thing was the next thing I want to talk about, Alex, and to the comment section. I'm going to be realistic about this. I don't think we're going to have it all our own way. What I'm happy about, and somebody was saying this on one of the comments of the videos this morning, is that Manchester United, we've always dithered. Summers have been horrible. We get linked with people like Ramos, Fabregas, Vidal all summer. We don't get them, and it's last minute as well. I went mad. I think Alex will probably remember this. I went mad last year saying we're wasting 9 points of the season by not having the players ready when the season starts, and that's always been the United way. But I knew when we got Mourinho, he's not like that. I mean, he's calculated. We were talking about this the other night. He looks at every single game and breaks down what he needs to get to win a title. And part of that is getting the players in early for pre-season, and he's done that. Mkhitaryan, probably, I thought it'd be today. It's probably going to be early tomorrow, I think. But obviously Zlatan, I expect another couple more, and I think we'll have most of our ad business done early, and I think that's really important. But I don't think we'll have it our own way, Alex. I do think at some point City will go big, especially if we go big and get someone like Pogba, which I still think is unlikely. What I would say about Pogba to anybody is, don't worry about it, because if we don't get Pogba, there's still £100 million burning in Mourinho's pocket. I'm sure we'll get somebody. So let's not get obsessed with Pogba. I nearly said Parker. But yeah, I do think City will respond. It's the only way City can respond is with their bloody Arab money.
Yeah, in terms of signings, I don't know. They haven't really, like, Gundogan is obviously a really good big name signing, but I tweeted out that picture the other day that was in the Sun of him walking around Manchester and he has a really heavy knee brace on. So I don't even know how you pass a medical with your knee ligaments done.
He's just another Anderson. He'll be frequenting the local kebab shops of Manchester, and he'll be a flop.
I don't know if he'll be a flop. But then Nolito just strikes me as Navas 2.0, but he might be decent. Aubameyang, if they would have signed him, I would have really feared them and thought that they're going to just absolutely walk the league because he's a bloody class player. But that definitely won't happen now with Dortmund selling Mkhitaryan, Hummels, and Gundogan in one window. I don't know. I haven't really, because I only follow United accounts and stuff. I haven't really seen them linked with anyone aside from that. They were going to sign Laporte, but that didn't happen. John Stones, obviously, they've been linked with for 50 million. But City have a history of buying really, really expensive centre backs and them not working out. So that could work out either way. The Stones was really bad under Martinez, but he obviously has potential to be brilliant. But I don't know if Pep Guardiola is the type of person to teach someone to be really solid defensively, whereas Jose Mourinho, I think he would become a better defender under Mourinho. But it remains.
Alex, you're doing the pen thing again.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. I think that I'm really, really over the moon with our business so far, and I think we still need a centre mid and a centre back. I don't think Pogba will happen, but I'll be over the moon if it does. But as you said, if he does go to Real Madrid, then we should just go all out for Kroos or Modric and just pray that they give him to us.
A lot of people would prefer Kroos. A lot of people would. I just like the romance of having Pogba back, but I wouldn't be disappointed with him. Going to come to Zara now, but Arsene, I almost signed Zlatan. What's that all about? I'm sure there was something in there. I've lost it. Oh, no, Tim Goodwin. Pep is a spineless coward and is a typical City overrated sod. Brilliant. Oh, I think I enjoyed that too much. But, yeah, Zara, you touched on Aguero there. Not literally. It might not be your type. But the transfers, obviously, I expect they will try. Hopefully they sign John Stones for £50 million. He's not worth it. As much as I'd like him to come to United, he's not worth £50 million. I expect them to buy. But I suppose the next thing is, when you look at the Man City squad as it is, and you look at the Manchester United squad as it is, head-to-head, I think a lot of United fans, we've got every right to be arrogant, but we're coming from a very, very bad position. I was saying this today. I do think if we get Pogba or someone of that ilk to go in the midfield and another centre-back, the squad we've got, he's assembled, could win the title. I don't think we should expect it, because I think that's massive to go from how bad we've been for the last 2 years and finishing 5th to winning the title would be amazing. I think it can happen, but obviously City, I think they should be ashamed of themselves last season, letting Leicester win the league. They had a very good squad. How far are we off City? I mean, do you still think that they are, on paper, a better team than us?
I'd say the thing is, I think we've seen it in like the Euros. You can have like so many like individual great players, but it's how you play as a team that really matters. And one thing I think United has against City is that City are mostly all individuals, whereas United now, because we have like more youth, they're becoming more of a pack. And when it's more of a pack, they more play as a team. And when we have like playing as a team under Mourinho, that's surely going to it's surely going to push us so we get further. So it's not really the name on the paper that matters in that sense. Like when Giggs left, I can't remember who the interview was, like who it was with, but he even said like Zlatan, even if he doesn't, succeed as well as he did, in like the French league, because obviously the French league is completely different to the Premier League. Even if he doesn't succeed as much, his experience will bounce off like youngsters like Rashford and everything. And say if we don't win the title next season, like this season coming, then maybe the next season after. And we, like you said, we can't, think, we've got it in the bag, because we haven't, because we can't be arrogant about it. We just got to be hopeful, and we just got to support the team that we love, because the base that Mourinho's setting now, if it doesn't, win us the title this season coming, it's surely going to win us it in the future, and that's all we've got to hope for.
Yeah, well, I've said that all along with Mourinho. If you look through his career, he guarantees you the title in the first 2 years, which as Manchester United fans we should be ecstatic with. I'd love to, top four I think is done. You should never say that, but I think it's done basically with him in charge. And I think we will challenge. We might win it. We might even win it, which is fantastic. Kunal Sen says, I think United now with Zlatan and Jose have a bit more swagger and cutting edge quality. I think City were ahead on those counts of late. I mean, one thing we should look at it positively, they are our rivals. I hate Liverpool more, but with Manchester is becoming the epicenter of football, and we should be proud of that. We're going to have hopefully we're going to come out on top. I think we will. But you've got Pep and Jose Mourinho, arguably the best two managers in the world. Certainly one of them is Jose Mourinho, and there's going to be a lot of attention. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and we must come out on top. Wildham7 says, don't think as United fans can slag Pep too much. If we had him, we'd be lording over him as a god, and if Mourinho was at City, we'd be slagging him instead. Yeah, I can see some truth in that, but I must be honest, I've lost a lot of respect for Pep Guardiola going to Manchester City, and one of the big things is that when it becomes, I'd be concerned if City had Mourinho and we had Pep, because Mourinho can do Pep, and he's proven it so many times, frustrate him, get in his head. It's a massive ask for Pep Guardiola to go into Manchester City with a team, like Zara said, that is basically a bunch of mercenaries, Aguero barring that, and maybe De Bruyne a little bit, and not be Premier League proven, try and implement tiki-taka shit that probably won't work, and he's up against Mourinho, who's Premier League proven. It's going to be very, very difficult for him. Still got some great things to talk about, but one of the ones I think will be important to a lot of Manchester United fans is that Kenny Lane's just made a very good point as well. Pep couldn't win the Champions League with Bayern. Jose Mourinho did it with Porto and Inter, which is very, very true. Mourinho's the better manager. I don't care what anybody says. Statistically, whatever, and he's also in Pep's head. But youth is very important to Manchester United. Youth is one thing that Pep Guardiola sort of did well at Barcelona. not so much at Bayern Munich, I don't think. But a lot of people are saying that Mourinho concerns them because of the youth. Who do you think will have the better youth legacy, Alex, between Pep Guardiola and Mourinho? Because that is something that's important to us.
If I'm being honest, in terms of giving their debuts, I think both of them won't really bother promoting that much youth. If I was to predict it right now, Pep at Bayern didn't give a single academy player his debut. At Chelsea, Jose gave the likes of Loftus-Cheek, and I think he gave a few others from their academy their debut, but he didn't really implement them into the first team consistently. I think the majority of our really good academy players are already under Van Gaal being put into the senior team already. I think Angel Gomez is one who will happen, but that's going to be 2-3 years away at the most. That Tahith Chong, whatever he's called, could be another one that's really highly rated, but we obviously have to see how he does in English football. City have the best academy in the world in terms of, in the Premier League in terms of the facilities built, because they invested so much money in that. They have a different climate, changing thing in their pitches and stuff. They have a small stadium for the academy to play, but at the moment their youth team is, for under 21s anyways, is very far behind ours. But like I said, I think there's going to be such emphasis on both of them to win with the senior team that I don't think either of them will put that much emphasis on youth. But I think if Jose's going to play youth for any team, he is going to do it for United because of all the expectation on it.
Yeah, Jamie Sheridan says Pep promoting youth is a myth, and Wilf says Pep can't take credit for Barca Academy. Yes, he worked there, but he didn't invent it. And I think I sort of was suggesting that really it's something that's been there for a long time. From a United point of view, I think Rashford is going to get games. I mean, look what he did for England. I think Fosu Mensah will continue to develop. Alex is right, Gomez and Chong are going to be sensations, but they're a couple of years off. And Pereira's the one. I'd be really disappointed if we lose Pereira this summer. But he was just messed about with by, and not in that way, but he wasn't used rightly by Van Gaal, and that was really disappointing because I really do think he's good. But Mourinho's got to get results, as has Pep, and maybe trialing out youth probably won't be at the forefront of both managers' minds. And at the end of the day, Zara, we have this romance about youth, but we've also got to get back where we need to get. And as I've said a lot of times, bar the class of '92, we've had about 15 years of not really any youth players coming through. People, Darren Fletcher, Wes Brown, people like that. Well, that was before that, wasn't it? But we've not had any great players coming through, and to have just Rashford and Fosu Mensah would be good.
Yeah, it definitely would be. I honestly think that people saying that, oh, Mourinho, he's not going to use the youth. Well, he's not blind. I mean, he's going to see that Rashford has talent and he's going to use him. I mean, with Fosu Mensah as well. Rashford is a massive example because Mourinho's going to say he's just been using the England squad. And in those last, 5 or 4 minutes that he was, before we had that detrimental loss that I don't want to really talk about, in those, few minutes that Rashford had, I thought he was phenomenal. The chances he tried to create were amazing, and he had that passion, and you could just see his attitude, the way he was playing. It was completely phenomenal and outspoken to what all the other players on the pitch were doing. And they're getting Rooney's getting 300k a week for that, and you have the likes of Rashford, who's on nothing on comparison to Rooney, and you can just tell that Rashford will put the effort in no matter what. So Mourinho's not going to be blind to that. Whereas with Pep's just like Alex was explaining before, he's not used any youth in the past. Mourinho has, and Mourinho will know talent when he sees it, so he will use the youth. It'll be a bit of a shame, Pereira. If Pereira goes, I don't think Pereira will go though, purely because social media-wise, he's been posting recently all about how he's looking forward to next season at United, and he's not. I don't think Pereira's the type of player to do that. Half-heartedly, if he knows, he's going to go. So I reckon, Pereira might stay, but it might take him maybe a couple more years to get into the first team because he does have the talent there. I think what Mourinho will do is he'll make sure that he can tell the academy means a lot to United fans, no matter how long it's been since we've had a class of '92 style sort of thing. This is a new era for United. We've not had that. when Fergie left, we didn't have that new era because we were sort of here, there, and everywhere with Moyes and LVG. This is a brand new era, and it's like a start of a new beginning for us all. So maybe it's time for me to keep all the fans happy. He'll think about the first team. He'll think about it as a whole new picture for us all, and hopefully, you know, it'll be a steady progress. Whereas Pep won't. Pep will just see it as, oh, go into a team. They have loads of money. Let's just, you know, see what we can win. Because I think with Pep, he just constantly walks into teams that he doesn't have to do that much work on. And with City, I don't think you have to do that much work with the squad. It's just the managerial tactics that you have to do. And if Pep's really all that, he will do that easily. And that's where we will come and fight.
Very good points. Just quickly, something's on about Rooney. I don't really want to get into that too much with the debate on him, but I do think Mourinho, unfortunately, sounds like he's going to fall into the same trap of every Manchester United manager who comes into the club post Sir Alex, in that they seem to think we all worship Rooney and you can't do anything but pick him and listen to what he's got to say. There's some rumour that he's been over to the England squad to talk to Smalling and Rooney about what he wants to do and everything like that. Personally, I don't care if Rooney stays or goes, but he splits fans 50-50. He's not this bloody god at Manchester United, and I wish Manchester United managers would come in and realise that, because they'd get a hell of a lot more respect. It concerns me. But it was easy for Pep to use the youth because he was in an easy league in Spain. Very, very good point. Spain is Scotland, the Premier League in the sun, isn't it? With just two good teams and the rest are rubbish. Bayern Munich, the German league's not that much difference. I mean, that's a good point, Alex. Next point for both of you: who is going to finish higher in the Premier League this next season? And I know it's easy to say Manchester United, but remember where we're coming from. Remember what City have got, but also to bear in mind that Pep Guardiola, can he do it on a rainy Tuesday night in Stoke? Because every game is competitive in the Premier League. Yes, they should be winning those games, but Pep Guardiola's never played in a league like the Premier League before.
Yeah, I think he's going to be in for a rude awakening in terms of the competitiveness of the Premier League. In terms of who will finish higher, it just ask me again when the transfer window's closed, because at the moment I think, as I said, we've signed really well. City, it depends if Gundogan can stay fit, how well they've signed, but I think a lot of who finishes higher will depend on if Aguero stays fit and how Zlatan fits into the Premier League, because I think it's going to be down to them two for like the two best strikers in the league. I think Aguero is better just purely down to age, and I think he's a fantastic player, but like I said, he doesn't stay fit. But in terms of finishing above, it's really hard to say. Mourinho, I think, is the better manager, and I think is obviously more suited to the Premier League. And I think City squad is really aging, but it's just the Europa League is going to play such a big part in things, because people say, oh, what's the difference playing Thursday, Sunday compared to like Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, blah, blah, blah. And it does seem to affect teams playing Thursday to Sunday for some reason. I don't know why. But also you have to think is that the Europa League, you play against like teams in like Ukraine and like Estonia and like way further out places than in the Champions League, because obviously the better teams are all in like Spain, France, England, in that area. So you have to do a lot more travel. And it just depends how we play in the Europa League, if we're going to put our first team out or if we're going to play our reserves.
Yeah, I think I said this the other day. Europa League, every team who plays in the Europa League, it ruins their league form. So I'd play the reserves in that one, definitely. And just quickly on the Zlatan point, some people, I know a lot of other fans of other clubs are doing it, but some United fans are doubting him. Right, okay, it's very simple. He's been playing for however many years, over a decade, and throughout a decade, he's consistently at different clubs, in different leagues, always scored better than a goal every other game. He plays 40 games for United next season. He scores 20 goals. And for anyone who jumps in and says he's played in the really good sides by really good players. And also, he's done it for Sweden, who I know have got a very good record against England, but England are crap, and Sweden aren't a very good international team. They're middle of the road. He still maintained it. So I've got no concerns about Zlatan other than injury. Zara, I'm going to go through some comments after I've spoken to you. And it's quite 50-50. Some people thinking with their head saying, for us to finish above City would be quite a feat. Do you think we will do it?
It's hard to tell. Like, on paper, I think United will just skim it and go above City. However, I think, we'll all know on the 10th of September when we have that derby, we can just tell the style of play that both teams will have. It's difficult to say, because Pep may take the Premier League, he might just go straight through it. He might just, just take it on his chin and just go for it. Whereas instead, or he could just have like that massive shock. Because the thing is, one thing I've like literally just got a tweet before from JJ, and it was a quote from what Jose said, and he said that if Pep concentrates on me, he'll lose. And that's one thing that we need to know as well, because that is true. If Pep does concentrate on Jose, he will lose. And we'll probably know, like, after this transfer window as to whether Pep has been concentrating on Jose. Because we'll see, whether the transfers that they're getting is, to try and battle Jose. And if that's the case, then, like Alex said, you'll know after the transfer window as to what, like, targets they've been having. Because then you'll know whether Pep's just going, well, you know what, I just need to do everything I can just to beat Jose rather than thinking of the actual team and, getting titles and everything. Whereas Mourinho, he's not going to be bothered about that. He's going to think about the titles. Hopefully, he's going to, like, put reserves into, like, the Europa matches because he's going to think to himself, the title's more important than Europa League because it didn't matter to the fans like last season, which it didn't. It didn't matter at all to the Europa because we were that shocked in it. We want our players to be Premier League proven. Like, we're going to have, like, targets like, I don't know if I pronounce it right, is it Lozano is like Mexican League? Like, we'll want him to, like, we want to, like, push the players into getting used to the Premier League, and Mourinho's going to know Europa's not going to be good for that. Players like Memphis, they shone in the Europa matches because they were used to that, like, international style, whereas they need to get used to, like, the Premier League, and he's going to want to train them fully whilst the matches are on and also in normal training day to day as well.
Yeah, I think it's really, really interesting, and I would sort of add to that and say it's going to define Pep or Mourinho. One of them's going to win big, and one of them will end up out of a job. But I think you're right, Zara. They cannot focus on each other, and maybe Pep will. And also, Mourinho hates Liverpool. He hates Wenger. I'm loving this, and he doesn't need to worry about Pep that much because Zlatan hates him. He'll sort him out. So it's going to be fantastic. I know it's only like the 4th game, isn't it? It's the first weekend of September. And it's going to be absolutely brilliant. I cannot wait for it. But talking of tweets today, somebody tweeted me today, and I wish I could remember that. It was very funny. Matt are obviously linked with going to Everton, and they tweeted to say that at least if he goes to Everton, he'll be safe from Mourinho, because Mourinho will never go and manage a shit club from Liverpool, which is very, very true. Harrison, there's your wave. Somebody asked as well, can they watch this video back afterwards? Yes, it goes up on the United Stand channel after we've finished, and it stays up on there the rest of the week, so you can go back and watch any bits that you've missed. This one's a good one, so get your thinking hats on. Both squads, whether you're City or United, I know we're all United, there's a lot of question marks. Schweinsteiger, Schneiderlin, Herrera, Memphis, and a few others for United. The same for City. I don't follow them, I don't like them, but I know Sterling's crap. So let's just use those two as the bigger picture, really. You've got Memphis for United, you've got Sterling for City, both massively underperformed, both cost a lot of money, although I will say Sterling cost double the amount Memphis did. I know, it's sickening, isn't it? But out of those two players, but use it as a metaphor for the rest of the squad that need to improve, because there's plenty at City. Who do you think is going to be more successful there, Alex? Do you think they'll just be jettisoned, or do you think that either of these managers will take the time to do something about it and be successul with it?
What, between Sterling and Memphis?
Yeah, I know, but use those as an example. But there are other players in both City and United squads who need to do better. But I think Memphis and Sterling are a good example.
In terms of Memphis, obviously I'm going to be biased and say Memphis, but even if I was unbiased, I would still think, like, just from looking at them, I've seen a lot more actually of Sterling than Memphis, because obviously we've only had Memphis for one season and Sterling's been around for a little while. But I just think some of the things that Memphis does in games are just absolutely, like, mind-blowingly world class. But then he's so inconsistent, because it's like he'll go in a Premier League game and he'll be absolutely crap, like in some games. It's just, I think confidence with Memphis is a huge issue. With Sterling, I just think it's a lack of ability. It was a huge issue. I think they only signed him for that much money and everything because he's English, because they had to get their English quota up, which is, I think, another reason why they're going to sign John Stones, because I reckon they'll sell Joe Hart, because he doesn't seem like a Pep-type keeper. But in terms of other players, aside from Memphis, that are under threat, I think obviously you touched on Mata to Everton. I'm not sure if I even see that one happening, because it seems that's a brilliant signing for Everton if so. But I was getting pissed off about it earlier because it's apparently 25 million euros. Yet they go and preach to every club. They made us pay 27.5 for Fellaini. They want 50 million for John Stones. So why the hell should we sell them an actual good player on the cheap? But then other players think Rojo could go. Blind maybe is another one. Just I don't know. I think we could. Like I said before that we're going to wait till after pre-season. I still think it will happen, but our pre-season is really, really short this year. That I think we're going to see a lot of players going, and that they might not get a chance to prove themselves under Jose, because I think he's just going to clear a lot of the deadwood out, which is greatly needed.
I love Mourinho. I hope he can sort Memphis out, but if he tries to put any effort into sorting Fellaini out, I'm 100% Mourinho out. I'm only joking. I want Fellaini out, but there was a couple of comments in there which I quite liked. Cheetan saying Richard Keys is apparently saying that Man United think they've got Pogba. I'll tell you what, if we get him, brilliant. I said July was going to be fantastic. We've only had two days of it, and it has been. It's only going to get better. Stick with the United stand for that. And also, somebody said Ashley Williams to United. That is a blockable offence. Do not do that. Just because he's played well for Wales in a couple of games. Remember what he did against England. Zlatan tore him apart in a friendly. He's a mistake waiting to happen. He's a Rojo, Marcus Rojo. That's what he is. But Zara, can he? I mean, I supported England for my sins, and it was in my interest that Sterling did well. So I didn't wish him to do badly. I'm not one of those fans who does that. Unfortunately, there was a lot of Liverpool players in the squad, and he's crap. He is poor. Sterling is poor, and I think Memphis can turn it round. But Tyler says, why is Dermot not on? He was sacked a long time ago. But Mourinho, Memphis and Sterling, do you think Mourinho will put some effort into getting Memphis right, or do you think he hasn't got time for that?
I think he will, but I think what Mourinho will be is he'll be very strict with it. As in, he'll probably just tell Memphis, right, you either do this training, you either do the best you can for me as to what I advise you to do, and if it doesn't work out, then you'll just have to go because I want to have a team that wins trophies and everything. He'll just be really strict about it and direct. And the comparison, trying to compare, like Memphis and Sterling, about the confidence thing. The thing is, Memphis doesn't have any confidence, but he has the talent, whereas Sterling doesn't have the confidence because he's realised he doesn't have the talent. That's the difference between them both. Because Memphis, you see, like Alex said, you see different sparks of him throughout, where he'll be really he'll have a terrible game, but then something will come out of nowhere and do a cheeky back heel or something like Martial and that, and then you'll just think to yourself, well, he really can be something. And I've always been 50-50 about Memphis. I don't have a bloody debates with Alex about him, because I thought, he's absolutely shocking. But when you see little sparks like that of his actual talent, you think to yourself, you know what, under the right training, he actually could be something. And Sterling was a flop. I mean, he was playing for England, and you thought to yourself, he got so many minutes compared to players like Rashford. It was just so undeserved. Whereas with players like Memphis, if he shines this season, even in pre-season, if he shows some promise, Mourinho will give him the games, and he will go, you know what, there's your chance. You either take it or you don't, and you're out. Because, like Alex said as well, Mourinho will clean out the deadwood. And he will do that because he'll want a squad that's going to be as close to a guarantee as he can possibly get to win us some trophies.
Zara, can you just do me a favour, just to make my night and make me sleep better? Just tell me that he's going to sell Fellaini. Even if you're lying, just say it.
Well, I reckon he will sell Fellaini, because I reckon he'll probably see what he's been like in Belgium and just be like, you know what, you're out. It's like if Sterling was in United. Oh God, that'd be a horrible thought. But if Sterling was in United right now, just after looking at the Euros, Mourinho would just be like, right, you'll go, here you go, sign a contract, you're gone, and that's the end of it. And he'll do the same with Fellaini. Just the new bloody dye on his hair will get him out in the first place.
Yeah. Then I can go to the doctor and get off the high blood pressure tablets. So he's got to go. I think it's a massive. He's not stupid, Mourinho. I'm sure he's got people around him who link into things like United forums and stuff like that. They must be aware that United fans think he's shit. And what a quick, easy win to be the man who sold Fellaini. We'll all love him straight away. But Draxler, the official devil says Draxler 25 million plus Depay would be a good deal. I disagree. I think this is where we're going a bit over the board. It's always nice to do the transfers and to be linked with people, but I've been quite realistic. Last year I was like, oh, we're going to get rid of 6, we'll buy about 8. And that was roughly not right, I don't think. But this year I think we've got Mkhitaryan, we've got Zlatan. If we get a midfielder and we get a centre-back and that's it, I don't think that will be it, but if that was it, I'd go, you know what, they're the 4 positions we need to improve on, and as long as we get rid of Rojo and Fellaini and Phil Jones, I think I'd be happy with that. There are players like Memphis, Schneiderlin, Schweinsteiger, Herrera, and Darmian, I don't want them to be sold. I really do think there's a lot to be said for the Van Gaal way of football and it being oppressive and ruining a lot of players. And I personally want them to be given a chance and to show us what they can do. I think Schneiderlin can be Matic-esque. I think Darmian can be a good right back. I think Memphis can be decent. And I think Herrera could be a hell of a lot better. And as Memphis said himself, he's sort of been suppressed and not allowed to do what he wants. And it's very hard to be free thinking as the sort of player he is, when in the back of his head he knows he can't do certain things. Mourinho lets his attackers express themselves. All he does in return is say, when you haven't got the ball, you work hard back. And hopefully, it's all about attitude for Memphis, is what I was going to say. But Alex, I don't know whether you're still arguing with Tyler there, but very, very, just the final thing really, and it will be on video, so it will always be there for people to look back on with prosperity. So being the United stand, we do put ourselves out there. Who is going to win out of Mourinho and Pep? Who's going to last longer and why?
It's such a hard one to say, because obviously history will say that Jose leaves after 3 years, but then likewise, what people don't understand is that everyone always goes on about this timing thing with Jose, and yet Pep never gets mentioned for it, and Pep never stays for a long time at a club either. And I swear, I've read so many times before that he's saying that, I don't know whether it's at the Qatar World Cup or the Russia World Cup, that he wants to manage Brazil. So he's already announced that he's not going to be at City for more than 5 years or whatever it will be. So I don't think they'll sack him, but I think Jose, the problem is with Chelsea is that after they won the Champions League, they just lost all their ambition and they stopped really signing consistently and spending the amount of money that they were in the past. And Jose, if you look at the signings they made last season, they signed Falcao, who obviously is God, but aside from that, they just literally signed no one, and they didn't really make any good signings. So I think if we the way Jose manages, that he does fall out with people, that's his style of management, that it's always that he just takes drips every single thing out of players. But then if he has United backing them with our financial support, then we can just literally replace any players that are starting to cause problems in the dressing room. So I think if there's any club that Jose can build a dynasty and stay a long time at, it would be United. So I'm going to say Jose.
Fair enough. And Zara, what about you?
I definitely think that Mourinho will, with the Mourinho versus Pep argument, Mourinho takes it hands down because he's already Premier League proven. With that under his belt, he can go all out attack. Mourinho's played at so many different leagues and stuff, whereas Pep just walks into it and expects to win. Whereas Mourinho doesn't. Mourinho will be really smart about it and clever, and he has that respect in the dressing room. He really does, because we've seen what he's like at Chelsea, and for United, we've seen when he was at Real Madrid, he said that, the better team lost. I mean, that alone, he's already got, the United respect. And when you've got that respect, you'll listen to what he says, and the players will listen to him as well. So that alone, Mourinho just wins hands down for me.
Okay, I'm not even going to choose, because this is Liverpool's year, as we all know. They're going to win it this year. So, no. I think in the long term, Mourinho's going to win it. I think we are right to expect a better season next year. I think it will be far more entertaining. But for Mourinho to win us the league next year would be absolutely epic. I'm not convinced that can happen. And we may have to play the long-term game. But I think the long-term game, Mourinho will definitely win it. And I'm just so encouraged by the fact that we are going out and getting business done early. But it's not a surprise under Mourinho. I think it's just surprising for us as United fans, because we've always dithered. But very refreshing, and the longer Mourinho's there, the better, because it will ingrain that sort of way of thinking. Sam Vid says, Mark, would you want Lozano to start over Mkhitaryan, or do you want him on the bench? Hirving Lozano, apparently there's a deal to be done. I know everything about him. I attend every game in Mexico. I've been following him since he was about 5, and he's absolutely superb. But he's probably not ready to start yet. I'd put him on the bench, but he's a good squad player. 21 in the end of this month, actually, end of July. Quick. Plays on the left, but I think he's more suited on the right. Good shot on him, very creative, and loves to dribble. So if you need to know anything about Hirving Lozano, just let me know. And I've got compilations and everything, signed autographs, programs, everything. I'm taking the piss. I don't know anything about him other than what I've read in a few clips, but I do like the look of him. But I know a lot of you like Adam Muniz, and there's a lot of you like Draxler. For me, again, the encouraging thing is that we may well be bringing in another right midfielder or another midfielder, which is all the more encouraging. But I suppose in the back of your mind, you're always thinking who is going to go out the door. Thanks for coming on, my guest, Zara. You've not been on for a while. In fact, a few people are mentioning that. Are you back now? What plans have you got on the spot?
Yeah, I'm back now. I have like some plans up my sleeve, even though I'm not like really wearing any. But like, but like I do. Hopefully, some good things might come for like the pre-season tour. Might have some ideas for that.
Yeah. Okay.
That'd be good.
Thanks for coming on. Anyway, it's good to have you back.
It's nice to be back. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, June was a bit of a slow month. We've battled through it. We will have daily content, especially through July, and I think more people will start to get more involved now. Obviously, it's only, I think, 2 weeks on Friday, Alex, that we play in China. I think that's right, 2 weeks on Friday. Sound about right?
Yeah, I think it's the first game, and then I know that the 25th is the City game. But just quickly, the 2 points I wanted to make, because I wrote down... So Scorpion mentioned it in the comment section, but I wrote it down as well, is that I think it'll be back to the normal top 4 next season in whatever order: United, City, Arsenal, Chelsea. And then just quickly, I put out a tweet earlier today about the exact same point, that people have always been complaining, or the complaints that I've seen from United fans about Zlatan is that he only scores against small teams. But who were the teams that we struggled to beat last season? It wasn't the big teams. We beat all of them. The small teams were who we struggled to score against. So if he does only score against good small teams, then I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm excited by it. It is 2 weeks on Friday for the first pre-season game. There's 3 now. There's one on the Friday, one on the Monday, and then one on the following Saturday in Sweden against Galatasaray. So it's Dortmund, City, Galatasaray. We will be doing watch-alongs for all 3 of those. As Zara said, we might have some exciting things going on, but I presume it'll probably, if Alex is available, although he might not be available actually, I might have to get somebody else, but we will be doing watch-alongs. I can't wait. We started the watch-alongs last season. If anybody doesn't know what they are, we go live about half an hour before a United game. We're live all the way through, watching the game with live comments and all sorts going on. It was depressing last year. I wanted Van Gaal to go. I want Mourinho to stay, and I think it's going to be great, and I can't wait for it. So every United game we'll be doing watch-alongs. Join us for that. It'll be absolutely fantastic. Fantasy Premier League. Trialled it last year. Didn't really go to plan. We are doing it this year. I can safely say that we've got some fantastic prizes, hospitality packages, very close to United, and they will be available, and it will be run properly this year. That'll be coming out in about a week. And a couple of other things that I can't really say too much about, which are going to be amazing, and they will be coming out in the next 2 weeks as well. So very, very exciting times for part of the United Stand, and all of it really is going to benefit you, which is what we wanted, because you put as much into it as we do with your live comments. So definitely keep getting involved, and it's going to get better and better. So it's great to have Zara back. Thanks to Alex. Don't know what he's laughing about there.
Just something Tyler said about Carrick fan. Tweet Carrick fan put out earlier.
All right, okay. We love Carrick fan on here, but I will go with one final. Thanks for coming on, Zara. She's laughing and muted.
Thank you.
I want to know what the bloody tweet is now. Can we say what the tweet was?
Just that he said that he hopes Mkhitaryan isn't announced today because he's in his pajamas. It's just such a random tweet.
I'd heard he shaved his head as well, which obviously makes a big difference. But somebody mentioned Joey there. Joey is out on the lash tonight at a barbecue. He was meant to be on, but I hope they don't sign Mkhitaryan, because I need to wax my there. Not my crack. But thanks everybody for watching. Really enjoy it. The Sunday shows are back. Never really said that as well. The Sunday shows are back. We've had a break for a few weeks, but Sunday shows are back now, right the way through till Christmas. I think is the next break. So Sunday shows are back. Carrick fans laughing, that's good. It's all a laugh, isn't it? I think everybody knows that about the United Stand. We love our football, we're very passionate about it, and but we like to bring a bit of humour and realism to it as well. So thanks everybody for getting involved in that, and there'll be some content up tomorrow. We've been pretty much live around 8:30 most evenings, and I'm sure that's going to continue. But the exciting thing is we just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. With Manchester, every day is exciting. You just don't know. All I can say with certainty is the United Stand will react, and hopefully you will all be with us. So thank you for watching. I think Mkhitaryan will be announced first thing tomorrow. It's happened quite a lot with United before. We'll just have to wait and see. Speak to you all later, and just keep getting involved.